managers at Bank of America or Wells Fargo, I highly recommend staying friendly with them because they can give you a lot of good listings after they come into the property. Okay, 14 days prior to the sale, the notice of sale records. It tells you the date, the time, and the place the foreclosure is going to happen. And it's usually in a public place. Most popular place is probably in LA County, is on the steps of the Norwalk County Recorder's Office. And pretty interesting, you know, go surf around on YouTube and you can find some of the auctions, even the ones in Norwalk, and you know, the trustee sets up a folding table and there's a bunch of people there that, you know, they've done various amounts of research. Most of the successful bidders at those sales are going to be the professionals that do that full time. And most of them will tell you that it is a full-time job. Most trustees, back when I worked in customer service many years ago, we'd have people that were investors call us and they check out probably 20, 30 properties before they even really zeroed in on one. So there's a lot of things you need to look at, and that's, you know, another part of the whole process that Greg could help you out with hooking you up with our customer service, you know, if you have somebody that needs to check out a property. When it goes to the auction, it's set, and they set an opening bid, and I know there's been a big topic of discussion. There's some properties out here locally where the opening bid was actually set for less than the amount that was owed on the note. And that's at the discretion of the bank. They can start the bidding underneath what they're owed. A lot of them just set it at what they are owed, and that's why they become REOs, which means real estate owned, because nobody will bid on them, because the first deed of trust balance is typically more than the property's worth. Any questions about that? Okay. Property searches. If you're working on these deals that are in foreclosure, either taking listings or helping out you know, investor friends of yours that are trying to zero in on some of these, doing your background search is very, very important when you're dealing with distressed properties. And the most important thing you need to look at is taxes. And that was a topic of discussion here before we started. You know, most properties that are in default right now are also in tax default. We've been paying more tax sales at the title company on all of our closings than as long as I can remember. And I've been doing title insurance for 23 years. And almost every single property we've closed has some form of tax delinquencies.
Hey, Mike, I always forget, and I hate the age. How many years can you be delinquent on taxes before they can actually force a tax sale?
Typically, it's 5 years. If your taxes are delinquent 5 years, they can go to tax auction. But they go into tax default the first year that they're not paid. Okay, so our first year ended, like this typical, our tax year right now ended in July. So any taxes that weren't paid for the 08-09 tax year went into default July 1st of 09. And we're about to get into the next tax year, which is 09-10. And that's going to become a lien due and payable on November 1st. Everybody remember your dates on your taxes?
Yeah.
Okay. And the cycle just keeps going round and round. They go into tax default, and then there's a monthly increase of whatever the redemption amount is.
But is it the county that would go after you, the state, if your property was in?
It's the county. What they do after 5 years, they can schedule your property for tax auction.
Do they notify you, or they, you know, is it a foreclosure
Yeah,
process?
it's kind of a foreclosure process, but on the other hand, you know, they can do what they want. The taxes are a first lien on every property.
It's a little bit looser guidelines as far as
Right.
they're concerned. They're like, you know, you owe the taxes, whether we properly got the tax bill delivered to you or not. You know, you owe property taxes. It's your responsibility. That's their mantra. It's your responsibility to contact us to get a duplicate bill, even if we mailed it to an incorrect address.
It's like getting a speeding ticket. Just because you don't know what the speed limit is, the cop's not going to let you off. The tax assessor's position is,
How
you know
often-
you need to pay
But
taxes.
how often does the county go after people? I mean, they just
They
put
do 2
the-
tax auctions a year, in February and
They
August.
don't. Her answer is they don't go after you. They just sell it after.
Yeah, they just sell. They don't actually go after you, put a lien on you or anything like that. They just sell your property. And most of the time, it's little odd pieces of property that, you know, nobody really wants anyways. But there are, you know, single-family residences that get sold at tax auction, and, you know, technically a tax auction wipes everything out, including deeds of trust. And if you've ever had to deal with a tax auction property with a title company, it's probably been difficult for you, because those things scare us, because You know, although they technically wipe everything out, the people that get wiped out have the right to sue. So for a $400 or $500 policy premium, the title company is basically extending free legal representation for whoever they're about to insure, should any of these lien holders try to attack title.
You guys don't like that?
We don't like that. We don't like that.
But you do insure them.
Well, I don't want to tell you we do insure them. We don't just automatically turn them away. We'll look at them. If you want to kind of know what the parameters are, most of the time we don't want to see that there were any liens wiped out, like deeds of trust or money judgments or anything like that. You know, we want to see that there really isn't anybody that can attack title. I know we're cowards, I admit it, but they're very difficult transactions for a title insurer, with a lot of not a lot of upside, but more downside for us.
Is there a time limit to the lawsuits that can happen?
I don't think so, because I think they have to have notice. A lot of the lawsuits, they stem from discovery date. So, and for us, once we issue a policy, our policy is good forever. So whether it's a valid attack on title or not, it doesn't have any validity at all, we still have to defend. And lawyer fees could wipe out a title premium very quickly. So that's why they scare us.
Who sets the price of that auction?
The county does. And they don't really negotiate or anything like that. It's what it is. They add up the taxes on a monthly basis and they tell you what it is.
We're not, let's just a quick, say you go to the 6th year, you're the homeowner, you're in your property, you haven't made taxes for 6 years, they send you notice.
Yeah, they'll send you notice.
Go and selling your property. You sell it in the meantime, you just pay the taxes.
Absolutely.
Then you
Right.
can beat the,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
They had like a small fee, like
They don't have like,
$580.
they don't, not absolute God power
No.
of you, right?
No, they're not.
No, and they honestly, they actually they'd rather have you sell it and procure it that way, because they get dragged in somewhat to this legal process if there is a claim. I mean, so they would rather have you guys pay it off.
Yeah.
They really don't want the property back.
Okay, liens. If a foreclosure is on a good first deed of trust, a purchase money deed of trust, it has a cleansing effect on a property if it forecloses. Liens that become attached to a property by reason of, like if I bought a piece of property and I had liens against me, if that's the purchase money deed of trust, that deed of trust forecloses, it wipes out any liens that become attached to the property by reason of me acquiring it. Of course, the game changes a little bit if I did a refinance and took money out of the property, or deeded it to somebody else uninsured, or whatever the case may be. So that is something you need to consider. A lot of the foreclosures right now, a lot of them are purchase money, but a lot of them are refinances where people just took a lot of money out of their properties. So you have to be concerned with liens. And I'll tell you, kind of as an insider for title insurance, back when it was going crazy in 05 and 06, not the best title insurance was probably being issued because everybody was so overwhelmed. So there were shortcuts taken, there was liens missed, and there are issues that come up where we have to defend property where a lien holder will all of a sudden rise from the dead and attack title.
So are you talking about personal, are you talking about judgments?
Everything.
Tax liens from other properties that
Even
were
deeds of
attached
trust.
to-
We've even had people call us on deeds of trust that if you look at the chain of title, it would be obvious that it had to be paid off, but nobody has any proof of it, so a title company will just go ahead and write, which is our prerogative. We can write a policy of title insurance and not show a lien, but if that lien holder, whether it be a deed of trust lien holder or a money judgment lien holder, gets wind of that there's a title insurance policy outstanding, they can attack title. And title insurance companies are, quite often referred to as deep pockets, and we'll sometimes just settle as opposed to go to
They
court
used
for
to be.
that value.
They used to.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit more stingy, I would imagine. But they're still paying out a lot of money. I'm referring a lot of action up to corporate as far as paying off claims right now. Actions. We've been seeing an increase of actions from the property owner suing the lender that's about to foreclose on them. And then the question, I just had a guy call me yesterday. Yeah, there's the action, the borrower's suing the lender, but the foreclosure is happening. What do you think if I buy that at the auction? So I told him, I said, I think you're going to have to deal with that action. Whether it's valid or not, it still could invalidate the trustee sale. If they have a valid claim that there's some type of fraud activity or something happened when that loan was originated, the court does have the jurisdiction to strike that deed of trust of the public